Hello, folks. Brian King here with another edition of Cup of Focus. And yes, I do have a great big cup of coffee. You're just going to have to trust me on this. I don't want to grab it and bring it in front of the camera. Those of you who have been following my posts over the past 24 hours or so know that I've been going through a lot of shit, a lot of personal stuff. And I've been sharing it live, for better or for worse. Some people are made uncomfortable by that. Some people are grateful for it, all points in between. Last night I was able to do some processing while I was trying to drift off to bed. And I got clear on a couple more things, and I want to share that process with you. What I realize is that part of this big emotional letdown existential crisis that I've been having during this time of quarantine, I think has to do with the standards I've been holding myself to that I was projecting on everybody else, thinking, oh, they hold me to these standards too. And the feedback that I've been getting from people shows me that I've been reading the room really wrong. That people aren't holding me up to the standards I've been holding myself to. They are far more patient and forgiving with me than I've been with myself. And when I found, with the pressure, the anxiety, the lack of the supports I'm used to, when those weren't there, and I was unable to maintain the strength, the resilience of who I thought I was supposed to be for everybody, I felt like a complete failure, and I just fell apart. And come to find out that so many people weren't expecting that stuff of me to begin with. And I was totally missing that. That here, all of this stuff that I thought that I was doing that was an indication of failure or, not being professional or not being strong enough, I was the one putting that pressure on myself. Now, it's not to say that some people over the years haven't come into my life and demanded something of me, and when I couldn't give it, said, well, you're supposed to be the expert. And I kind of felt a little crappy after that, like, man, am I supposed to know this? Can I be an expert and be ignorant on this point at the same time? And I just have to continue to work on letting that go. Because being relentlessly hard on ourselves is something that people with, people in general, I guess, people that are perfectionistic, people that are people pleasers, you don't have to have a diagnosis to have these issues. Coming from somebody that has ADHD and Aspergers, I can assume that it's more difficult for me and people with similar conditions, but I don't want to say that we have a special type of relationship with those things where we have it uniquely hard. It sucks either way. And another thing that I got clearer on was how often I allow my own ego to get bruised, or how often I allow my ego to get inflated. And then when the rug gets pulled out from underneath it, I take it incredibly personally, very personally. And that is something that I've struggled with my entire life. And hopefully I will find a way beyond that kind of thinking. But at the moment, I have these wonderful little mental gymnastics on how to avoid feeling rejected. And sometimes they work. They're not 100% because there are times where I feel rejected, I feel hurt, I feel not good enough. And over the past week or so, all of that stuff has just really backed up on me. And it was devastating to my ego. And I fell apart, and I sobbed, and I felt hopeless and helpless and all kinds of stuff. It was ugly, painful, miserable, depressing, and I'm starting to feel a little better, even though I still feel sad, because when you realize things like this, there's some grieving involved in order to let it go. So there's been a death of some expectations I've held, death of some illusions, and I'm having to grieve so that I can let go of those things and make room for whatever the hell is next. I have no idea what it is. I don't know what's coming. I'm not going to pretend to know. I have to get more comfortable sitting in this place of uncertainty. And man, let me tell you, that goes against my every instinct. I'm the guy that likes to have a plan. I don't want to leave the house without knowing where we're going, where else we might be going, how long we think we're going to be out. Part of that is because I want to have some sense of order in the world, because the world is a confusing place for me with my executive functions. But the other part of that is, because of my Ehlers-Danlos and other conditions, I get tired pretty quickly. So I want to make sure that I have enough spoons, as the analogy we use, have enough spoons to make it for the duration of whatever the plan is. So part of my wanting to know is practical. Other part of it is fear. But I don't even know if I've said anything useful in these couple of minutes. I'm still processing all the crap I've been going through. And I guess if there's a takeaway for you, it's that just because you might spend a couple days feeling like there's no hope, there's nowhere to go, you've lost a lot. If you can find some part of you that tells you to just wait, just be patient, that your brain is working behind the scenes, not everything that's going on is within your awareness, and the answers will come. And keep talking about it, keep processing with someone. I've been talking through this stuff with my wife, my family, with a couple of really close, trusted colleagues, and man, I couldn't do any of this without that support. So, best I can say, and it sounds kind of cliche, but hang in there. Believe you're worth waiting for. Wait until your brain catches up. Wait until you get enough emotions out of your system to make space for a little clarity. But just be patient with yourself. The answers are coming. I can't tell you when, but I can tell you I know what it feels like. And patience can be a bitch, especially when you don't know whether what's coming is better, worse, the same. But as long as clarity comes from it, I think that's probably a big win. So I'll leave it with that. If this has been helpful, let me know. If not, keep scrolling. If you want to share it with somebody, please do. And until next time, this has been Bri. Thanks for being you.